Assalamualaikum guys. My name is Tarsha Siddiqui and I am from the Lyceum Karachi.
And I'm Ramsha Khan and I am from LGSJT Lahore.
Right, so we welcome you to the first episode of Student Talks on the platform of HS Consultants. Now, this is primarily for career choices, helping students decide where they want to go, their destinations, and stuff like that, right? So, this web series is going to have international representatives from different universities all across the world. So, yeah, that is something that is really exciting, isn't it, Ramsha?
Yes, of course, I agree. It is, and especially considering that 2020 has changed so much. There's radical change, and there's immense uncertainty. We really don't know what we're going to be expecting in the upcoming few months or years, perhaps. So, and even with that, most of our activities have been virtual, and everything's online. We have online platforms and digital mediums. So here we are bringing you student talks to learn more about what's happening around the world and how you can pick a good path for your future in the upcoming years.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically what this is about, and the international representatives are going to give us their thoughts about career choices and student life and how each destination is for students and stuff like that, right? So let's talk about today's destination, which is going to be Ireland. And this is obviously located in the European continent. And an interesting fact about Ireland is that 25% of high-tech US national companies have their offices situated in Ireland. So yeah, that is something that is really exciting for people who want to work in these companies and want to choose Ireland as their study destination.
Yeah, that's such a cool fact, and definitely it's a beautiful country to enter the essence of beauty. And without further ado, we would like to welcome our first guest from Dublin City University, Mr. Jacob Kestner, leading operation for the university at Educo.
Hi, Tafa and Ramsha.
Welcome
Hi.
to our show, Mr. Jacob. How are you?
Hi. Thanks so much to welcome me. Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. So just to clarify, I lead Educo's operations here in Ireland, and Educo is a global education company, and we partner with Dublin City University and a few others in Ireland as well, including Maynooth University and the Technological University of Dublin and IT Sligo. But look, I'm really happy to talk to you today and to share what I can about Ireland.
Same.
That's amazing. That's great to know. And other than that, we're hoping everything is good at your end regarding COVID-19 and the uncertain times.
Yeah, it is good. And you know what? It's we feel quite positive in Ireland because we're definitely emerging out of the worst of the situation. So in March, the government took pretty swift and effective action to clamp down on the global health crisis that we were experiencing. So non-essential businesses were closed, schools and colleges actually closed in March, and students started studying at home online. And as a result of that swift action, we all took actions ourselves. So we were advised to stay home as much as possible. But we were able to, as a result of that swift action, we haven't seen some of the most extreme forms of lockdown that we've seen in some other countries around the world. So we didn't have curfews here, for example. We were allowed to leave our homes for essential foods, essential goods, so for food, for medicines, even to exercise in the parks. There are lots of beautiful parks in Dublin.
Yeah.
But in any case, those restrictions have been lifted now. And Leo Varadkar, our Prime Minister, has announced that we will actually be out of those restrictions faster even than we thought a few weeks ago. So in June and July, all of the restrictions will be lifted. So we hope that by August, things will almost be back to normal here. So yeah, things are good in Ireland right now.
Yeah.
Right,
that's really good to know.
We know everything around the world gets fine sooner, better than later,
Exactly.
right? So outside of this lockdown situation, Tell us, what's Ireland like? How is it like to live there? What's special about the culture, the tradition? What makes it so unique?
Yeah, great question. I think the first thing to say in answering that is about the people. Ireland has a really great community, so I'm English originally. I'm from the
Oh,
UK,
nice.
um, and so I think I can speak as somebody who's come to Ireland, from another country. And it really
Yeah.
is true that people are open and friendly and welcoming. The Irish culture is one that puts family, as something that is really important. They put
That's
friends and
amazing.
socializing. They value friends and socializing.
Yes, of course.
Um, and I think they're also pretty welcoming to new people coming into the country. One of the reasons for that, Ireland, as a small country, it has a long history of immigration and emigration. So, almost
Yeah.
everybody I know in Ireland has the experience of having lived abroad themselves, or they have friends or family members who are living abroad right now. And I think that makes them quite open to the experience of being a foreigner in a new country. And I think that makes them open
Exactly.
and welcoming,
That sounds great. That does. And also, considering that the stereotype that potatoes are the favorite food of Irish people. I mean, potatoes are the best thing ever. So they are pretty welcoming to see that. And yeah,
Yeah,
moving
and
on. Exactly.
that is a stereotype. So Ireland is
Yeah.
Dublin is a really multicultural and global city. You'll find, if you just Google it, you'll find Dublin in, lots of those lists of top 20 cities to live in the world, or
Yeah,
top
that's true. That's
15
true.
places to be a student. It's actually a really young and diverse country. So about a third of the population are under the age of 25. Almost 20% of the population speak another language, or are from another country. So it's a pretty diverse, global, open, multicultural place.
That's really good to know. And what would you like to say about the lifestyle for international students coming to Ireland? Do you think, since you yourself, you just said that you're English, so how was it for you? How do you think it will be for those students who are coming from, let's say, Pakistan or any other South Asian country, which is very different than a European country, considering stuff like that. So, what would you like to say about that?
Yeah, I think the experience for international students in Ireland is great. And actually, I think in the last couple of studies that I've seen of student satisfaction, Ireland often comes out as the best country in Europe for student satisfaction.
Oh,
And I think that's for a
that's
couple
amazing.
of reasons. So one is
Yeah.
one is the social life and the friendly welcome that I talked about. I think it is great for international students that they come to a country that wants them there, that welcomes them, that is really, happy to welcome students. Um, there are lots of clubs and societies in all of the universities that I know in Ireland. Lots of opportunities for students to meet other students from around the world, from Ireland. And certainly the public universities that we work with, they
Yeah.
are large, diverse universities. So you are not going to
Wow,
find
that's
yourself,
amazing.
just in an accounting class or just in a business class full of other students from South Asia. You'll find
How is
yourself in a class mostly with Irish students, but also with students from all around the world. So that part of it, I
yeah.
think, is really good. I think the other thing to say about the experience as being a student here in Ireland is, the education system is really high quality. It's
Yeah,
a
I
great
have heard that.
education system, but it's also quite a small and personalized. So as a student in Ireland, you will know your professors. You will find yourself,
Uh-huh.
in small group seminars and in discussion groups with your professors and your tutors. It's
Wow.
one of the real strengths of Ireland, and I think that's the other reason that it contributes to I think the other reason that contributes to those really high
It
satisfaction
is, yeah, of
scores that
course.
Ireland
I
gets.
mean, getting students to communicate more with their professors and their teachers is a great thing.
Mm.
Yeah, and like student support groups are so important when you're studying in a university.
Exactly.
Because there's so many concepts you might understand, you might need help with, and so stuff like that is really important, right? But that is a bit about student graduation from Dublin City University and their employment opportunities, how it is for them after they've graduated, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Ireland is a great place to come and to start your career. So the first thing to say is that there are post-study work visas for all graduates.
Uh-huh.
So if you're a
Oh,
graduate
wow.
from a bachelor's program, you get a 1-year post-study work visa. If you're a graduate from a master's program, you get a 2-year post-study work visa. So the first thing to say is you
Oh,
can stay and start your career after your degree. The second thing to say is there has been a real skills shortage in Ireland. Ireland as an economy has been growing very, very fast for the last few years. And, if you're a fast growing economy, but you're a small country like Ireland is, it's only a population of 4.7 million people. When the
oh,
economy is growing so fast, it means that they need international students to come into the economy to keep the economy growing. So in some key areas, particularly in technology, but also in financial services or in medical technology, in pharmaceutical research, in biotech research and development, in some key fields, Ireland really needs high quality international graduates. And
uh-huh.
you can see that actually in some of the stats. So last year, employment was 4.4%. So if you've studied economics, you'll know that anything under 5% is typically called full employment. So
Yeah.
we had full employment in Ireland last year, and we had really
Uh-huh.
high graduate salaries as a result. So the average master's graduate salary in Ireland was a staggering 40,000 euros per year. That was the average.
Wow.
The average bachelor's graduate salary last year was 29,000 euros a year. So that's the
Wow,
starting
that's amazing.
salary coming out of your degree. And that's the averages. If you get a job in Facebook or Google, in biotech, those starting salaries are much higher.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's really great to know that students who go to Ireland will have so many opportunities. And I mean, obviously, that is also one of the reasons why students would look to Ireland. And of course, those who are viewing us will be considering these things in mind. And
Mm.
yeah, other than that, do you guys also provide career and placement services at the Dublin City University?
Yeah, so Dublin City University is actually the number one in Ireland for graduate employment outcomes. And even more
Oh,
impressive than that, it's
wow.
number 19 in the world. So
Wow.
not only is that because 95, 96, 97% of graduates are in employment or further education 6 months after graduation. So it has very high outcomes, but the support that it provides is really, really great. So there is a careers center. There is advice and support for students. And right now, because the campus has been closed since March, all of that
Uh-huh.
support is available online. So, you
Oh,
can
wow, that's
still
good to
get an
know.
appointment with a careers officer. You can still get help with your CV or your interview skills from Dublin City University, right now online. And actually, one of the important things to say about DCU degrees is that many of the degrees themselves, almost all of the degrees at DCU, they include work placements or internships or live work projects as part of the degree itself. So you are going to get a lot of focus on your future career and what it's really like to work in the industry that you want to go on to in the degree itself. And that's actually, there are lots of universities in Ireland. Lots of them really prioritize that. It's one of the strengths of Ireland. But at
Wow,
DCU, as I
that's
say, they're
great to
number
know.
one in the country.
Yeah. That's really great to know. I'm glad to know that DCU is offering so many opportunities for their students and obviously cares so much about their students. So evidently, it's a very good choice to be considering.
Definitely, and like it's such a good university. It's ranked so high, and that's definitely something to consider, right? And so we already talked about COVID-19, but let's like talk about it a bit more because students are like so unclear about universities and what's going to happen, especially A2 students and like A levels, the ones who are already enrolled in A levels because they either have to apply or they have to go to university soon. So tell us about how Ireland is handling the whole situation. How is it accommodating student applications, and what's the process going on right now?
Yeah, well, yeah, a few things there. So let's take them in turn. The first thing to say is that Ireland is open to international students right now. So Ireland wants international students to come for the new academic year, the autumn semester, and it will be issuing visas to students. And we expect the visa offices in Pakistan to open soon by the end of the month. But in any case, students can start preparing their visa application right now. So the visa application process for Ireland is 2 steps. You complete an online form, you prepare your documents, you download that online form, you put your physical documents together, and you deliver that to the visa office. So right now, students can be preparing their visa documentation to come to Ireland in the autumn. And at all of our partners in Ireland, and including Dublin City University, international students, including from Pakistan, are welcome to come to the country in the autumn. So you can come and study in Dublin in the autumn. Now, at Dublin City University, you actually have another option for semester 1. If you want to, you can study online from home in Pakistan. Now, that is an option that may suit some students, it may not, but you have the choice. Either take your first semester online at home or come to Dublin and study in Dublin.
Okay.
Now, when you come to Dublin, what is that going to look like? There's a few things to say about that. The first is that the campus, Dublin City University and all campuses in Ireland will be open. So they're expected to open by the summer, by the end of July or the beginning of August.
Yeah.
Now that is holiday time for students here. So that will be staff heading back to the campuses at first. And then by the autumn, students will be able to come to the campuses. It's important to say, there will be social distancing requirements in place on the campuses. And I think we're going to see that all around the world, in every university in the autumn. One thing that may mean is that some of the communal spaces, like the libraries, for example, may have some restrictions on how many students can enter the library at any one time. Maybe certain students will be able to access those facilities on some days and not others. So there will be some restrictions like that in place. And the other thing to say, of course, is that lectures won't be happening on any of the campuses in Ireland. And again, I think around the world, I don't think we're going to see this autumn, a lecture theatre with 100, 200 students, packed together. I don't think we're going to see that anywhere. So in Ireland, and certainly at DCU, those lectures will be available online. They'll be available to live stream, and they'll be available as recordings afterwards. And then at Dublin City University, most of the learning in the first semester is going to be delivered online. So you will be able to stay at your accommodation in Dublin. You'll have access to your lectures. Often your seminars will be in small groups online as well. Your assignments and your assessments will be set via the virtual learning environment. And at DCU, they use Zoom for video calls. They use a virtual learning environment called Loop Sorry, go ahead, Tafa. Again, Tafa.
Is there any access to teachers online for assistance that students, because they're not going to university, they'll need that too? So is that provided?
Exactly. So all of that support that you would normally expect from your tutor, from the team at DCU, all of that will be available online. you'll be able to have one-on-one meetings with counseling teams, with support team, with your academic team. So that learning will happen predominantly online in the first semester. But as I said, there will be access to campus. And what we're likely to see in the first semester is more and more hybrid learning happening. So small group seminars and discussions happening on campus, probably with priority given to lab-based subjects where you need to be on campus to access certain equipment. So I think it's best to think of it as a hybrid model in semester one. Students will be able to come and meet their friends on campus. They'll be able to go out to see their tutors, their professors, their friends, their peers. They'll be needing to follow social distancing guidelines, but they will be able to do that. But at DCU, what they've committed to doing is being able to deliver everything to students online. And that in that first semester, and that does mean that students can stay in Pakistan if they want. Now, then in semester two, it will be a far more of a hybrid model, and those students who have studied at home in Pakistan will come to Ireland for semester two. But a lot of options and a lot of support available to students at DCU.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
that's amazing to know. Moving on, do you think if we talk about Ireland more, do you think Ireland will be opening borders soon? And what about the Ireland's involvement in the European Union? And if
Yeah,
students travel
so
to Ireland, will they be able to travel in other countries as well?
Yeah, so Ireland's borders are open now, and as I say, as soon as the visa office opens in Pakistan, which we expect by the end of this month, in another few days, another week, then students will be able to apply for a visa and come to the country. So yes, Ireland is open. And Ireland, as you say, is in the EU. It's in the European Union.
Yeah,
It's now the only English-speaking country in the European Union since the UK exited
UK.
the EU through Brexit, which I know you guys have all been following on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so an international student who comes to study in Ireland, they can travel in Europe. Now, it's not in the Schengen zone, and so that does mean that when you're a student in Ireland, you'll need to apply for a visa if you want to travel to visit Germany or France or any other European country. But once you've got your student visa, what students tell me is that it's quite easy to get that tourist visa to visit another European country from inside Ireland. And Ireland is really well connected, and Europe is really accessible. I can
Of course.
fly from Dublin to my home city of London in the UK in about 45 minutes. And there are cheap
Wow,
flights
that's
across Europe,
amazing.
airlines like Ryanair or Aer Lingus, depending on when you want to travel, you can get a really cheap flight for less than 100 euros. And then Europe, you can travel to some of Europe's most magnificent cities. You can get to Paris, you can get to Milan, you can get to Amsterdam, you can
Yeah.
travel
That
to
is
Berlin
great.
or Frankfurt, all
That is
accessible from
definitely
Dublin.
something that students will be
Yeah,
attracted by.
obviously
Good.
that is one of the reasons why kids try to apply to Europe, because they get to travel all around because of the European Union laws and stuff like that, and it's always
Yeah,
fun
and
because
also like being exposed to so many
Europe
cultures,
itself is such a
such a
beautiful
different in the
continent.
same place. Yeah,
Yeah, correct. I think so too.
yeah. So, are there any scholarships or discounts available for students that are obviously outstanding? They've worked really hard for their grades. What does DCU offer for these marvelous students, that stars you would call them?
Yeah, there are some. And what's really good is that students don't need to make a separate application form for a scholarship. They just apply to DCU, and DCU will judge them and assess them, whether they're eligible for a scholarship.
Right. That's great.
And we've seen some students get some really generous scholarships from DCU of even up to €2,000 discount on a tuition fee. and maybe it's worth talking about the tuition fees. So at DCU, you'll pay somewhere around 13, 14, 16, 17,000 euros a year for your tuition. Remember, a master's degree is 1 year. Most master's degrees is 1 year in Ireland, and a bachelor degree is 3 or 4 years. There are lots of 3-year programs in bachelor degrees in Ireland, although the norm in Ireland is that you would have a 4-year degree. So depending on the program that you choose, the fee could be anywhere from, those low teens, 13, 14,000 up to 16, 17,000, with some specialist programs being slightly more. So those scholarships that are available, can make a difference. I would say to students, though, don't rely on the scholarship, and that's it's pretty tough to get in Ireland, and in particular, I'd say look at the total cost of your studies, because the cost of tuition in Ireland, even without scholarship, is really pretty affordable compared to some other really popular international destinations. So the fee is already quite low. Living costs are pretty affordable as well. So in Dublin, the capital city of Ireland, living costs are around 10,000 euros per year. So that would be for accommodation, for food, for travel. About 10,000 euros is what we'd recommend. And don't forget also that as a student in Ireland, on that Stamp 2 visa, which is the name of the student visa that you get, you can earn while you learn. So you're able to work part-time during the term time, and then full-time, in fact, in the holidays. And the holidays are for 4 months of the year. So 1 month in the Christmas holiday, and 3 months in the summer, June, July, August. So it's actually possible to contribute to the cost of your time in Ireland by working during your studies.
Which that would mean that, in considering what you said, this would mean that students would be stress free as well, because they will have plenty of time to relax and stuff like that. But do you think Dublin University helps with stress management and stuff like that as well? Because leaving a country is very stressful for a student. For example, if I am leaving for university abroad for my undergrad program, I'll be 20 or 19 years old, and obviously it's scary, it's daunting. And what do you think? Does Dublin University offer those opportunities to cater with the health and stress management?
Yeah, it does. So DCU has a great international office, and that's the team there to support international students coming into the university. And it has a great set of wider support available to students as well. It has a counseling service that students can access. It has an English support center for students that need help with English. It has academic support available. So yeah, there is a lot of support. I would say it's one of the things that Ireland does really well, which is recognizing that that student life and the student experience is not just about your academic studies. It's about the holistic experience, and the ability to be helped, to be looked after in everything that's important as a student on campus. So yeah, I think and you're right. It is daunting. I'm always I have huge admiration for students coming halfway around the world to further their education. It's a brave thing to do, and Ireland is a good country to come to do that, I think.
That's great. So tell us, you told us that you came to Ireland obviously to work, right? So tell us more about like the culture you experienced. What was it like? And because that's like probably what the experience is going to be like for students that come there to study. It's going to be obviously the culture here in Pakistan is so much more different than that of Ireland. It's completely different. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so Ireland is a great place to be as a student, and I gave you some of those kind of overall numbers. So Ireland is quite a young country, about a third of the population under the age of 25. It's also relatively diverse, with about 20% of the population are international. And Dublin in particular as a city is an international city. It's a multicultural city. And you see businesses setting up in Dublin from all over the world. and I think the experience is great, and you get in Dublin some real advantages. So it's a city with all kinds of restaurants and nightlife and food available like any
Yeah.
multicultural city. But it's also it's a relatively manageable city, so you can cross from one side of the city to the other. There's great public transport. Lots of people cycle and walk. There are beautiful parks all across Dublin. And then, of course, you can get out of Dublin quite easily. So Ireland is known as the Emerald Isle. It's a beautiful country, very green. The countryside is
Of course, yes,
beautiful.
of course it is.
And you can get out of the city and visit some of that countryside really, really easily. And it's one of the things that I love most about Ireland. And then, of course, as we talked about before, somewhere like DCU has so many student societies and clubs for students to join. They're really into
Yeah.
sport in Ireland. They love watching, they love playing sport. So I think, great place to be as a student.
That's great. That's great. So thank you so much for joining us, Jacob. It was great speaking to you and getting to know so much about Ireland, and we got to know so many different things, especially the fact that DCU is dealing with the COVID situation so greatly. That is something that is amazing. That's something students really need to know in a time like this. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us and giving us this information.
You're welcome. Let me give you an important last message to finish. So the deadline for most programs at DCU is the 1st of July.
All right.
And if a student is interested in the foundation program at DCU, either a pre-master's or a pre-bachelor's program, they have a bit longer to apply. So foundation applications are being accepted through July and into August. And the foundation program is really interesting. DCU is a tough university to get into. To go directly into DCU, into a bachelor's program at DCU from Pakistan, you'd need an international qualification like the IB or A levels. But if you apply via the foundation program, you can be accepted with your higher secondary school certificate, that Part 2 certificate. And dependent on the program that you join, you can be accepted into that program with a 55% in your high school examinations. Also, the IELTS or English language score that you require would be a 5.0 or equivalent, which compares with needing a 6.5 to go directly into the university. So there's a bit more time to apply for the foundation programs, which many students are doing right now. The deadline is the 1st of July. And for anybody with offers or anybody ready to apply right away, if they pay their first installment of their tuition fee before the 1st of July, they'll actually get a €1,000 discount. So anybody who's holding an offer right now, that's something worth thinking about. Good. Well, look, that's all from me. So Ramshad, Tafa, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jacob.
Thank
It
you
was
so
lovely
much for
having you here
joining
with
me.
us, and we hope that our viewers are much more confident to seek Ireland as a future study destination, especially the Dublin City University. And I hope I'm certain that you've helped our students a lot in considering Ireland as a good opportunity to seek the future.
That's great. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you. It was great meeting you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye. Right. So that was really interesting, getting to know so much about Ireland, getting to know about the admissions and everything.
Of course, yes, it was.
Since we are like A-level students, so it's definitely needed.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that you guys have gotten the answers to most of the questions you guys might have regarding international studies or seeking Ireland especially. And if you have any other questions, feel free to comment down below. Or just tune in just follow us. Make sure you tune in for our next segments and next webinars, so that you can get an idea of more about other countries and not just Ireland, and you get
Definitely,
more
yeah.
opportunities with every upcoming webinar.
Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care, stay safe, and goodbye.
Allah Hafiz, guys.